Hello, everyone. Olivia Reiner here for Packers News, and I am joined remotely by Pete Dougherty, who is in beautiful, sunny, warm Arizona over at the NFL League meetings. Pete, how is the weather over there? Make me a little bit jealous right now.
It's great. I would guess it's in the low 80s, although it's pretty chilly inside here. In the media workroom, it's actually cold.
Oh, well, that's a bummer. It's actually
Yeah.
really warm here in the Press Gazette newsroom, so maybe we could trade off. I'm sure you'd be better off in here. It's nice and toasty. But besides that, busy first day for you. What did Brian Gutekunst have to say? I saw that you wrote a little bit about Clay Matthews over on PackersNews.com in your notebook. Um, talk a little. Brian Gutekunst talked a little bit about his process, his thought process behind whether or not the team would bring back Clay Matthews, ultimately deciding not to. What was his process exactly?
Yeah, we had it was just a couple local reporters who have come down here. We had about 30 minutes with them. So the questions were all over the map and a lot of things, but one of them was, just the decision to move on Matthews. I asked him if he was just too expensive. Basically, he said, yeah, because they'd spent so much on the four guys they got, including two outside rushers who they spent $36 million in signing bonuses on the two Smiths. He basically said they just didn't have enough money left over to pay Matthews, and so he went to the Rams for a little under $5 million a year average for a 2-year deal. And he told kind of a funny anecdote that because Matthews had this off the charts 10-yard split in his 40-yard dash. It was 1.49 seconds, which that would put him among the top 10% of cornerbacks who've been to the combine since '99. Cornerbacks, that is. This is a 240-pound guy at the time. So it's off the charts for an outside linebacker. And I asked him, if that made an impression on them. And he really just kind of, not so much that, but he in the draft room that year, he said Thompson really plays things close to the vest, even with his own staff. But he said right after they picked B.J. Raji at number 9 overall, he hung up the phone and said, "Now let's go get that linebacker." And he's talking about Matthews, and that sounds like that was really uncharacteristic of him to do something like that. And they started working the phones, and it sounds like they tried to trade up, quite a bit higher than 26, but just they must have decided the price was too high. So they waited out, eventually moved from 41 to 26. And I think it's pretty safe to say that was Thompson's second best pick ever, with, of course, Aaron Rodgers being the best one he made.
More details on that anecdote are over on PackersNews.com in Pete's notebook. So if you're interested in reading more about that, please make sure to check that out. Besides that, Matt LaFleur will be addressing the media Tuesday morning. What types of questions are you going to be throwing at him, or some of the other media members going to be throwing at him come Tuesday morning?
Yeah, it's going to be all over the map because there's reporters. There's all 32 coaches will be there. They'll each have their own table, and reporters from every city. So guys go around from reporters go around from table to table and ask different questions of these coaches. So it'll be all over the map. I'll be curious about what he thinks of the backup quarterbacks. I haven't had a chance to watch the tape, what they're going to do at slot receiver. But actually, one of the big topics, we also get a session with him, just the local reporters after the breakfast. But I'll be really curious to know about his practice schedule. And, McCarthy was big on the GPS and analytics and really adjusted his practice schedule and work week to that. I'm really curious to know how LaFleur's work week and training camps will differ from Mike McCarthy's, and that's a big thing in the NFL. That's a huge part of running a program, is how you schedule things. It has a lot to do with cutting back on injuries and all that. So I would like to hear his thoughts about how he plans on handling those things.
All right. Well, Pete, thanks so much. I appreciate you joining me all the way from beautiful, sunny Arizona. I expect to see you coming back with a tan, okay?
Or a burn.
Or a burn.
No burns. It's bad for you.
Good. No, use sunscreen.
Yep.
We'll be checking in with you for the rest of your time out there. So make sure everyone head on over to PackersNews.com every day. You can read up on everything that Pete is up to there and what he's reporting on. And of course, our little check-ins as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.